Hello, my nice people. How are you doing today? So I wanted to talk to you about something that's very important to me and should be very important to other people, which is sex education. And this book is so informative. It's called Sex, a Book for Teens, an Uncensored Guide to Your Body's Sex and Safety. It is by Nicole Hassler, and I read this book because, I am in the third part of the chapter of my life. So I'm in my 30s. But I've always felt that there isn't enough information for people that are thinking about having sex to look at and to inform themselves on. And once I read this book, I'm like, that's it, I'm sold. Like, I wish this book, I don't know how long this book has been around or in what year it came out. Let's see. Oh, it was published in 2010. So, I wish this book had been out, I guess, early on in life, like in the 1900s, or when people first started having sex, or, when people first started to discover their bodies and everything, because it talks about puberty. It talks about, like, they have little diagrams of, like, the male body parts, the male member parts. It talks about hair under the underarms. It talks about hair on the legs. It talks about weights. It has, like, different questions and answers. Like, one Q&A is let's see, it talks about different sexualities, like we have straight, bi, trans, gay. There's different gender identities. Like, not everyone identifies with their own sex. Like, some people are born male and they feel like they are females, or they should have been females, and vice versa. But I really like this book. Like, it explains everything. Like, if you want to change your sex, what that surgery is about. It talks about an example. It talks about heterosexual are people who are attracted to the opposite gender. Homosexual women who are attracted to other women, meaning lesbians, and men who are attracted to other men, meaning gay. It talks about pansexuals, bisexuals, asexuals, transgender, transsexual, and cisgender, which are people who are comfortable in the gender they were assigned in, which is gender identifications. Heterosexual, homosexual, bisexual, pansexual, and asexual are sexual orientations. So back to this book. I also wanted to explain that it does talk about birth control and contraception, the different methods that there are. It talks about tampons, pads, any questions you could possibly have. And, like, if you're afraid to speak about the birds and the bees, how a baby was conceived to your children, not children like 5 years old. Obviously, at 5 years old, you tell them, a made-up story. But as they start getting older into their teens, you can definitely, speak to them with full sincerity of how babies are made, and how, it's something that takes a lot of time, a lot of patience, a lot of love. And I think everyone should take the time out to talk to their kids when they're old enough about sex, because sometimes if you don't talk to your kids about sex, you might end up with a teen pregnancy. And sometimes if you're not prepared to have kids, some parents either force you to have to deal with the consequence of your decisions, with just to have the baby, abort the baby, or give it up for adoption. I won't say which I'm for, because everyone has their opinion, but I definitely think that sex education is something very important, and that it's something that should be talked about, and it shouldn't be a taboo, because this is what leads to reproduction. This is what leads to us having a good population for the remainder of the years. This is what leads to possibly having really smart kids, or, you know, kids that can help us in the future. So sex education is something that definitely should be talked about, because it is very important. It is pretty much our survival. And I hope that everyone enjoyed this video. I hope that you look into it. Again, it's a sex book for teens, but